From someone who had a serious skincare shopping addiction before, I have now realized that keeping my skincare routine simple did not only save my skin, but also allowed me to save more money in the long run for my real desires and dreams. So in this video, I'm sharing 3 crucial lessons that I learned that could be applied in taking care of your skin and your bank account. What's up guys, it's Nik. As you know, I'm a recovered shopaholic, now a money mindset coach, empowering working professionals to fund their dreams into reality. So there was a time when I seriously spent like 15,000 in 1 month just for skincare alone. For some reason, I thought I needed 5 more toners, 5 more serums, and a lot more cleansers to try so I could finally heal my acne before. And I realized that's also sometimes how we may overcomplicate our finances. We think that if we complicate things, it would solve the problem when it's completely doing the opposite. Like for me, when I thought that I needed to experiment with more skincare products, try more recommended products, the more that I would be able to heal my acne and my skin problems. And that's the same with our finances, right? We think that we need to apply all of the financial systems, the multiple bank accounts, the daily expense tracking so that we could finally solve our money problems, when in reality, it only overwhelms us, confuses us even more, and we just give up in general. So in this video, I'm sharing not only how I've kept my skincare routine simple that ultimately healed my skin, but also how we can apply similar lessons to how we handle our finances and keeping it simple so that we can ultimately fund our dreams into reality as it should be. So if you're all about that, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel because I do have a new video every single week. Now let's get into the routine. First lesson that saved my skin and my bank account is that simplicity wins if done consistently. So I thought that if I just bought all the serums, all the toners that would heal exactly what I really wanted to heal, that it would eventually work on my skin. But the thing was, I kept changing up the skincare products in my routine, so I wouldn't really be able to pinpoint which one was working or which one was triggering my skin. So I was in this cycle of trying new products because there's this something that triggered my skin and I'm going to try another product. So I wasn't really consistent in a skincare routine. I realized that simple yet effective products is the way to go and use them consistently. So first off, this saved my bank account because I wouldn't constantly try out different products just for the sake of that looks like it's nice on my skin, that looks like it would really finally work on my skin, rather than sticking to like the same products that my skin really needs, that are essential to my skin. And so as a result, I just kept replenishing the same staple products that are super simple and straightforward that ultimately I used consistently, and therefore I saw results in my skin. So let me share with you how simple and straightforward my morning routine is. So I start off with a cleanser. So this is the Krave Macha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser, which is just to really remove all the dirt and add hydration back to the skin. Hindi yung sobrang parang na-suck out lahat ng moisture ng skin mo when you use a foam cleanser. This one is really hydrating after using it, and it's fragrance free, so it's gentle and non-stripping face wash. And for me, this is what I use every morning and every night, and it has served me well. So because I know it works, I just keep replenishing the same product. And then after I cleanse my skin in the morning, I use a toner just to put back even more moisture to my skin. So I thought that the more dry and the more matte my skin is, the more that it would heal my acne, when it's the complete opposite. I need to keep putting back the moisture so that it won't strip my skin and want to produce more oil. So for me, after I cleanse my skin, I leave it damp. I don't even put towel on my face. I don't even dry my face with towel anymore. I want it to be damp so that all the products would immediately sink in. So this is what I learned watching a lot of skincare videos, you guys. While my skin is still damp from the toner, then I put my moisturizer. So by the way, all the products, I'm just going to list them down below so that's easy for you to remember and take note of them if you're curious on the exact products. This is a multitasking product. I use this as my body lotion and my face moisturizer. I know it's shocking. It's like, isn't it supposed to be marketed na iba yung sa katawan, iba sa mukha? not for this one. So this was recommended by a dermatologist that I've been following who is Dr. J. So check her out. And ito yung struggle na sinasabi ko. Alam mo yung in-overcomplicate ko na I thought I needed a different moisturizer, a different body lotion, I needed to have a night moisturizer, a day moisturizer. That's why my bank account was not happy about that. When in reality, I literally just use the same product now for my body and my face. This can really be used for that, okay? This one is quite thick if hindi damp yung skin mo. So that's why I really pack on the toner or leave my skin damp so that when I put on the lotion, it immediately sinks into my skin and really pangatang tunog, it really absorbs the moisture that my face needs from this moisturizer. I think this is like my 5th bottle. I do not kid you. A game changer for my skin and also with my bank account because I don't need to buy a separate day moisturizer, a night moisturizer. And lastly is, of course, every morning I always apply sunscreen. So kahit na I work from home, most of the time I'm shooting a video or doing calls, there is still the window glass that wherein it penetrates, the sun penetrates. Like right now I'm shooting a video and the sun is directly to my face. After you have pimples, which I had then, like even though it was healing na, it leaves dark spots. So those dark spots would really worsen if you don't wear sunscreen. Also, having sunscreen prevents skin cancer, prevents terrible aging for the long run. Because what I love about this, again, you can use it for the body and the face, right? And it's water resistant, so it's perfect. So I use it when I even go biking, when I go to the beach, when just day-to-day stuff, when I go outside. And it's so lightweight, it's not sticky, it doesn't feel like anything. It's like a light moisturizer and it does the job of protecting my skin from the sun rays. It really saved me money because I just stuck with the skincare routine that is simple, that does the job, that serves its purpose, and because of that I'm also able to save consistently. And this is what I would compare with the lesson of simple wins, is because in relation to our finances, we think we need to do all of the expense tracking, all of the budgeting apps, all of the courses, all of the investments, when in reality, we just need to stick to the simple yet effective system that allows us to do consistently in the long run. As I've shared before, I had to master the basics first, the basics of mastering one income stream at a time. I've mentioned this in my previous video that allowed me to build my net worth to 1 million. That is the power of being able to master a simple system wherein each of them serves a purpose rather than stacking up more investments, stacking up more income streams, pero you don't know what's the purpose. How does it really serve you? How is it essential? I hope you see, like what I always talk about in my channel is that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I was able to really stick to a simple skincare routine, I started applying it for other aspects of my life. Like, how can I keep my financial system simple? How can I keep my business simple? How can I keep my day-to-day life simple, but it's something that really sparks joy in my life? That's why ultimately, like in my coaching, I share like I was able to condense like my 6 years of trial and error into a 60-day roadmap for my clients because I already know what works, what doesn't, and how to keep things simple yet effective for you. By the way, if you're curious about how I coach my clients to have a simplified financial system that they get to stick to and follow through easily to create the sustainable money habits, I do break it down inside my one-on-one coaching program, Fund Your Freedom. You can check it out in the link in my bio. I help them audit their expenses and augment it and tailor fit it in alignment to their dreams so that they are using money as a tool to make their dreams happen. Second lesson that saved my skin and my bank account is to identify and solve the root cause of the problem. So I was figuring out like what's going on, like why am I getting adult acne at this stage in my life? One of the root problems that I pinpointed was really stress. Sometimes we might be underestimating stress that could be the cause of our skin flare-ups, skin problems, and I was pushing it aside. Like I was like, oh, I can do that. Like hello, like being an adult is part of life. But I wasn't dealing with stress. I was pushing it aside. But eventually, you know, as I dealt with that stress, with the lack of purpose going on in my life, and that led me to like starting my coaching business that gave me more purpose and passion for life. That's why I felt like eventually I was able to manage my skin better because I was able to manage my stress. But then I was like, I feel like my skin is not completely getting healed yet. So I was figuring out, okay, ano pa kaya yung reason ko ba't ako nag-break out? One of the biggest contributors is also dairy. So I was like, oh, maybe it's fresh milk because I always use fresh milk in everything. I drink fresh milk, I put it in my tea, I put it in my eggs, I put it in my cereal. So I was like, why don't we experiment? Why don't we take out fresh milk completely? So I did that, and I replaced it with soy milk and almond milk. And then, oh my gosh, guys, sobrang parang clear as day. Like, my pimples completely like healed, and then I wasn't breaking out as much anymore, and I just kept sticking to the same routine that I told earlier. In the morning, I stuck to the same products, and I realized those were the two main culprits that were causing my skin to flare up. It's really the stress, and second, it was the dairy, which is the fresh milk. When I was able to alleviate or remove all of that and just stick to the same simple skincare routine that I talked about, that's what really saved my skin. And did not only save my skin, but also save my bank account, instead of me trying to look for external solutions like buy more products, buy more toners, buy more serums, try more cleansers to finally fix the problem. When in reality, if I don't fix the root cause of what's stressing me out, the root cause of what I could be intaking into my body that's causing the flare-ups and the acne, then I wouldn't have been able to save my skin in the long run. So that's why I share in this lesson is you have to identify and solve the root cause of the problem. And at the same time, it also talks about like when you have a money problem, what's really the root cause? Because oftentimes you think, oh, it's just like I don't have discipline, I don't have self-control, I lack income streams, I need to earn more. I'll tell you right here, that's not the root cause. That's just the manifestation of the root cause of the problem. The root cause for me was like, oh, I was shopping constantly and impulsively because I lack purpose in my life. That's why I was using shopping as a coping mechanism, right? This is what I love coaching my clients on, is to get into the root cause of what's causing the money problems so that you can stop the cycle for good. In the same way I stopped the cycle of constant acne flare-ups, in the same way that I was able to stop the cycle of acne flare-ups when I got into the root of the problem, in the same way, that is the same metaphor or analogy that you could apply with your money problems. Like, what is the root cause so that you'll be able to stop the cycle from the root so that it won't keep going at a cycle, and you can finally break it for good and create more sustainable money habits that allows you to stick to saving consistently and spend with confidence because you trust yourself that you're able to make the right spending decisions. By the way, I dive into this topic a lot more on how you can break the cycle of financial stress and pressure in my free 60-minute training. You can check it out in the link in my bio. I love hearing from you guys that you've been having amazing takeaways and learnings from the training. You've been taking notes, and so I love it. So make sure you check it out in the link in my bio. It's completely free, and it is packed with the same framework that I coach my clients on, so you can get an idea on how it can work for you as well. Alright, now we can talk about my nighttime routine. For my nighttime routine, the first essential step is to do a double cleanse. So how that works is my first cleanse is doing an oil cleanse through this complete cleansing oil by iUnik. So this really helps with breaking down all of the makeup. Essentially, this breaks down the makeup and the sunscreen that I use throughout the day. And when I say to you that I've tried so many makeup removers and so many oil cleansers that sting my eyes and my eyes feel so blurry and I feel traumatized. Okay, medyo exaggerated. But, you know, I've experienced them all. This is the only one that doesn't sting my eye. And then it also breaks out the makeup. I just have to be really patient in scrubbing gently my eyes because we don't want to tug our eyes because, you know, we don't want wrinkles, okay? So this is what I really use to break down all the makeup, okay? And then once I'm able to emulsify it with water, it becomes this milky goodness. From oil, it becomes like a milky texture. And then from there, I'm able to wash out all of the makeup and sunscreen from the day. And then after that, that's when I do a double cleanser. So this is the second cleanser that I use for the double cleanse that I talked about. And I go back to the same cleanser, which is the Krave Macha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser. And as I've shared, I like it to be gentle and non-stripping. That's why I love this one. And then after do that, guess what? I use the same toner. So I put it in a cotton pad and just put it and apply it over my skin, or put it literally on my hand, put it like this, and then dab, 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 dab. And then as I've shared, I don't use a towel to dry off my skin after I do my cleanser. I just like fan it a bit so that it dries for a while, and then I put the toner on top of it so that my skin is just soaking in all the moisture that it needs. I'm like normal to oily skin type, and doing this routine where I really pack on the moisture really helped in controlling my oils, because we think that we need to really mattify our skin with all of the drying products to help with the oil, but it's the complete opposite. That's what I've learned from so many skincare product videos that I watched. It's the opposite. You need to drink up more moisture in your skin so that your skin won't think like, oh, wala kang enough moisture, we need to produce more oil to compensate for the lack of moisture. That's what happens. So for me, packing on the moisture, the hydration really helps in regulating the oil on my skin. And then after that, that's when I put my serum at night. And this is the Cerave Resurfacing Retinol Serum. And I swear to you, this is like the all-in-one magic product. I thought I needed to have another niacinamide serum, another serum for, I don't even know, nakalimutan ko na nga yung mga pangalan ng mga pinagbibili ko na serum just to heal my dark spots on my skin. But literally, this does it all, because what it has ceramide, it has licorice root extract and niacinamide, which ultimately helps in evening out the skin tone, helping to fade the appearance of post-acne marks, which I had a lot of, and really ultimately restoring the protective skin barrier, which is the hydration that my skin needs. If there's just one serum that you need to have, it's really retinol. And for me, yun nga, parang at first I thought I needed to have like different kinds of serum, but then I just stuck to the basic and simple, which is this one. It's so easy, it doesn't sting my face, I didn't have a learning curve, you know, putting on retinol. I thought it would like peel my skin, but this is so gentle on my skin. It feels like a light moisturizer, honestly, so I use it almost every night. So after the toner, I put on the serum, and then I lock everything in with the same moisturizer that I talked about earlier, and that just like seals everything in with the moisture that I need at night. So my goal is that when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like my skin is dry. I feel like it still has enough moisture. This is what this moisturizer gives me. And as you can tell, each of them, as I explained, serves a purpose. It's not just because it feels good, it smells good, and it's recommended, but I know it's aligned with what my skin needs. So this leads me to our third lesson that helped me save my skin and my bank account, which is to differentiate what's necessary versus noise. It's super important that you have a clear purpose for each of the products that you use to build a simple skincare routine. As I always share, you also need to have a clear purpose on why you do certain things that would help with your financial system. For example, like there are so many options to do your skincare. Like there are some people who say like fragrance is okay, like as long as it doesn't trigger your skin, go ahead and use it. There's some people who just literally use just moisturizer and cleanser and they're okay with it. There's some people when they have like an extensive 10-step skincare routine and they love it. And at the same way, like when it comes to our finances, there are people who say like have multiple bank accounts or do expense tracking daily, or you know, you should invest in G-Invest, in crypto and Axie and insurance and stocks and all of that. There's so many options, which is great. There are so many options for us to choose from, and that's the thing. It's up to us to choose what's essential and what's gonna serve a purpose in our lives. Like as I've shared in my previous video on how I built 1M net worth, is I was super intentional about which investments are going to serve the goals, the vision that I have for my life, because there's so many investments, there's so many ways to go about our finances, but what matters is you get to choose. The same way with our finances, there's a reason why you need to prioritize building an emergency fund first before you go ahead with investing in a property or investing in another insurance or investing in stocks. Like there is a way to master the basics first of our finances before we go ahead with the advanced level. For instance, you can't skip steps or jump ahead with wanting to build a retirement fund or having multiple income streams when you haven't even fully mastered handling one income stream and having the right spending and saving habits. That's why when I coach my clients, I really tailor fit a plan that works for their dreams on how they use money as a tool to get there. Like, it's super important for you to think about what's necessary for your financial goals. Like for me, when I have been able to save up, 6 figures, I had the option of like pursuing the dream business that I always wanted and quitting my corporate job, or staying in my corporate job and using that money to invest in a property, a down payment for a property that I want. But I chose to be like, okay, if my vision is waking up every day with passion and purpose and helping people with my mission to create a ripple effect of positive transformation through coaching. So I said, okay, and then I'm going to use this savings as business capital to start the dream business that I've always wanted. And then after that, when I've mastered that, then I'll be able to invest in the property that I want, which is literally what I'm going through right now. A great practice for this is every time you make a purchase or think about going into another investment so that you don't spend blindly or invest blindly, is ask yourself, is this necessary or is this just noise? Because in the sea of options in this world, which is both good and bad, right? It becomes good when we can identify what's necessary, but it becomes bad when we just give in to the noise and the pressure of doing all the things when we could be successful in just focusing on one thing at a time. So if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you check out this one, which is the money advice that I wish I knew earlier, that I wish my 25-year-old self knew earlier. Check out this one because it is packed with tips that I became kind of vulnerable on, but I know it's going to be super, super impactful to you. So check it out and I'll see you there.